Okay guys, from close guard, the first thing here, I shoot to break the grip. And I use my both hands. I'm gonna choose one there, make my both grips there on the sleeve, and I'm gonna pull up and I break the grip, okay? Now I'm gonna use the material there, look at that, to block his wrist. And I'm gonna drag his arm to the side, cross his arm there, look. But I should use my knuckles there to push his arm to the side, drag like that, okay? Strong grip down the sleeve. Now, I blocked his wrist and I can do the wrist lock from here, okay? So, but before I should to block his elbow there, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open my leg and block his shoulder there, okay? So, but before this, I make my grip down the second collar, okay? And I bring him down. And I'm going to do the climber bar first, and I lock there the shoulder, okay? So of the shoulder and the armpit, and lock there. So now I block the shoulder, block the elbow, and I have the angle to start to do the wrist lock from here, okay? I'm gonna close my elbow, and pull his arm up, and bend his arm there. Okay, so now I have the free hand to start to do my wrist lock there. Okay, when I start to push his hand down to do the wrist lock, I'm gonna lock there his knuckles there with my hand, and I block here. I don't grab the toes, and I don't make my grip here on the fingers or on this part here of the hand next to the wrist. I'm gonna make my grip here, so the strong grip on the knuckles there like this. Okay, so now keep my elbow closed, bend his arm like the same kimura there, the same Americana, and I bring there, look. So now I'm gonna make my grip here on the knuckles, squeeze there, and I pull his hand down, and I start to put pressure there, and I keep my elbow closed, and I'm going to do the wrist lock now, okay? Look, pressure now, and I make my opponent tap there. Always when I'm going to do the wrist lock, you should to lock, pay attention there, lock the elbow and the shoulder there, okay? You can use the same work there to do, for example, in a lasso. You can connect it. Lasso, you are going to do the same work there. Look, I'm going to the regular one there, for example. I'm going to connect the lasso there, okay? And I hook the shoulder, and I bend his arm there, but I lock his arm. And I have the same angle there to do the wrist lock, okay? So drag his arm to the side, keep my elbow closed, look. And I'm going to the knuckles there, squeeze, pull forward, and bring, and I make him tap, okay? If you have some guard there, or you can block the shoulder or the shoulder or the elbow, you can do the wrist lock, okay? But that's the regular one. And I break there, cross, drag, and I do the climber bar, pull the head down, and I close over the shoulder there, look, and I have the shoulder and the elbow. So now I start to do the wrist lock, okay? Bend his arm there, keep my elbow closed, go to the knuckle there, strong grip, use the material there to block the wrist, bring, look, down. One, if you want to use the both hands, look, you have more power there, and put pressure there, okay? The same work, lasso. If you have the lasso, you can use the same, okay? Open there, connect the lasso and hook there under his armpit and block the shoulder, and I use my cuff there to bend his arm. And I close my elbow there, look. Look, I push him to the side a little bit, and I can use the C grip here, or turn my hand like that, okay? So now, when you put pressure, pull and push, and you can finish there, okay?